I'll sit at ringside all day, like Logan said, and the guys and girls will come up and talk to me, and like Gargano and Ciampa, the tag champs DIY, came up to me and they explained their whole outlay of their match, because there's some certain little things that I had to know about to be able to bring forward in the story and explain why these things were happening. And also at the end, Street Profits got involved, and people were like, why are they getting involved? So I needed to have that knowledge to explain to the audience why this is happening.
That's what I'm talking about.
So those are the things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we've done stuff like that before with you. Even you know, the right hand, the titanium rod, and you've reinforced
the brass
that
knuckles.
Yeah.
I remember talking to you before the Roman match, because that was biggest match of your career to that point.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to you guys about that match and just little storyline things that I had to get in to help you. So it was, I mean, that stuff's really, really important, because again, our job, first and foremost, is to enhance our talent. And the better our talent get from a story standpoint, and the more emotionally invested our fans get in our talent, obviously we sell more tickets and more people watch the show. So,
okay, when you made the jump from radio to WWE, like, and you weren't a massive wrestling fan?
Well, I was as a kid, but
same.
Right. Yeah.
How and why?
So it's sort of a long story, but I need it to explain how this happened. So I was in radio news in Texas, traveling all the time, much more than I do now. And we were young and into our marriage, and I got transferred to New York to work for CBS in New York, and they promised me that you're just going to work out of the city, so I'll be home all the time. And well, I got there, and I ended up in '96 going out and covering I had covered Bill Clinton's campaign in '92. '96, I had covered Bob Dole's campaign. And
what a joke! Well, I want to talk about this after the presidential side.
I was out that entire year, '96.
Yeah.
And my wife was like, "What the hell are you doing?" First off, you moved my ass from Texas to New York, and now you're not even home.
Just on the campaign trail.
So Todd Pettengill, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar. Todd Pettengill used to work in our company, but he was a huge radio DJ in New York at WPLJ, which was a powerhouse at the time in the 90s. And I had worked with Todd for a while in radio. He was working here, and he was going to leave the company. He said, "Hey, come in for an audition." So I came in and did an audition and didn't hear for a few months, but then they said, "You want to come work here?" So I figured, listen, I'm in radio now. I have no television experience. Let me go try this job for a couple of years, get some TV experience, get a tape under my belt, and I'll leave and go back and work at CNN or somewhere. Yeah. Well, 28 years later, I'm still here. So it just turned into a love, just this whole business.
But by this point, you know the moves. You're very.
I don't even call them half the time though. It's just you don't have to.
Yeah.
You know, it's just you don't. It's the drama. You know, sometimes you talk to hardcore fans and they get all hung up on, oh, he didn't call out a Canadian destroyer. He didn't know the name of the move. Who gives a shit? Yeah. Seriously, it's the story. That's what people care about.
Do you know why I relate to this? It feels like Karate Combat.
Really?
100%. So I commentate a really up and coming karate pit-based karate league, and like walking into this and being brought on because of energy and bravado and comedy, because they want it, and social media, pull as well, to sit there next to GSP and Boss Rutan and talk about insane, like legends of the game, right? And to talk about, jiu-jitsu and grappling and all this stuff. And I'm sitting there like, were there moments where you were like, I can't do this? Like,
dude, I didn't know. So the funny thing about it is, when I started in this company in '97, WCW starts kicking our ass.
Yep.
And then the screw job happens in Montreal with Bret Hart and Vince and Shawn Michaels. And I go home, and my wife's like, "What are you doing? Your company is about you just left.
What are you doing with your life?
You just left a lucrative job at CBS to go to this circus. You've been here 6 months, and now all of a sudden the company's going to go out of business because we thought we were going to go out of business.
Yeah.
It was wild. What saved me in this business in the beginning was when I first started. Our producer at the time, Kevin Dunn, said, "You know nothing about wrestling, but we think you're a good broadcaster. You need to learn the business." So they sent me out on the road every single weekend to our live events, which we were running every weekend at the time. And I rode with JBL.
But our governor is too busy protecting his fragile ego.
One of my really good friends. He taught me the business in the car. My job was to make sure that there was beer and whiskey in the car after every show so I could drive them to the next town. But that's how I learned, right? And I spent a year with these guys. And
he isn't even
that's how I learned the business. And then, of course, with Michael Hayes and Paul Heyman, guys like that. But, yeah, there were times where I was like, I made a huge mistake here. Like, I have
Without
no idea
your
what I'm
Missy
doing.
Verno,
And then
I'm
Jim
hardly
Ross
even
ended
an
up getting sick in
animator.
1998,
tools,
and they
the
threw me out
workshop.
there for 4 or 5
God.
months on the main shows. And I really was, I was green. I was like, this is wild. Like,
So am I.
I'm not going to, I better
At
start
least
looking
now
for
I'm free to
another
study
job.
whatever I
Like,
want.
yeah.
And you're
On
trying
my
to, and you're
terms.
also at the same time like,
The
who
dream
were you
scratch has
commentating
been
with
a
at the,
thorn
or
in my
announcing with at
side.
the
But
time?
Jerry the King Lawler
Yeah,
at
come
that
on,
time.
dude.
Yeah.
I
You know,
mean, and you're
who I
trying-
actually beat at WrestleMania.
yeah. but
Anyway,
you're
I
going out there and it's like
I have plans
you're
for
trying to
this island.
not only are you
They
trying
don't
to
involve the dream scratch,
announce for the first
but that's a
big
story
shows
for
yourself,
another
but you have
day.
to learn the synergy like this immediately, and that's one of the hardest things. I mean,
Anyway,
this
listen
whole
to us
thing took,
babble.
you know,
Let's talk about
at
you.
least 60, 70 episodes
never
to get to a
expected to
point where
see
it
an
was like
endearing
a
envoy
semi-honed,
here.
and now it's a
Got a lot of
product,
guts showing
right?
your
But
face
like
in a town
that must
full
have
of
been very hard to do
animators.
in real time on
Yeah.
main broadcast.
And especially when it comes to wrestling, because as you know, our fans they are the hardest. They're the most loyal.
Our first order
They're
of
also the
business is
hardest
the
fans
dream
in the world.
Judgmental.
On
Yeah.
you. Judgmental. Yeah. I
I'm
mean,
so
it's
curious about
it was
you.
hard, and
There
thank
aren't
God.
many godlike left
I always
these
tell people
days.
this. Thank God that back in the late '90s there was no social media, because I don't know if I'd be here today if there was social
Sorry.
media.
What do you mean by that?
Well, just
I
the way
only
that
bring it up because
everyone has a
Anna
voice,
Menzi might
and
offer us some
you know,
insight into
I know at the time,
Keeping it alive.
99% of the world
While
would have
I
hated
pack up
Michael
my
Cole, and I
belongings,
probably
you
wouldn't have
can
made it.
help me.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was a
Bye.
wild time.
Well, do you feel like that? Because one thing I've noticed, you know, having been around the business a little bit with him, is the hatred is an equal value
Excuse me,
currency as
it's
love in this
been a long
in this org, right? And
When it
so it's
comes
like
to the
it's
dream
an attention,
scratch,
a
we
currency of
haven't been allowed to
attention, and
acknowledge
so
the problem,
even if they were
much
all
less
day, we
act on the
fucking hate this.
solution.
Does it
Today,
change
that
when it comes to the
changes.
commentary crew?
I need help from the
there's two
animators
types of
around
heat.
town, but as you
There's
can
the
see,
heat you're talking about, which
I'm an
is the Logan
outcast.
Paul heat, when he walks out and people boo him.
Yeah.
And it's not because they hate Logan; it's just because he plays this character that people don't like.
It's not a character.
Well, I know. Well, I was trying to be nice, but but then there's then there is what they call go away heat.
Oh, they consider a bad product.
Yes,
almost,
they just
yeah.
consider it's a bad character, it's a bad product, it's a bad person on the air.
Don't
We had some
worry.
announcers recently
Ignacy
that
can't
just didn't
banish
work
us
out
all.
because, and you could go
Monto
online
Pastor
and
is in
you
the
know,
workshop due west.
99% of the people
He's got
hated
an
him, and
invention
you,
that
you
can
know
help
at that
us.
point, like you feel inside
Elia
yourself
Rossell
that this
is
guy's
an
not going to make it,
authority
and then
on
when
the
you
undead.
realize
Her methods are
and you listen to some of that,
controversial, but
you know
useful.
he's not going to make
Yeah.
it. You know,
She lives in a cottage southeast of
I
town.
think I have go away heat.
And then there's Yvette
The-
and
you
Lee.
think so?
The
Our
only reason
philosophers.
why
You'll
it
find
works
them at the docks,
is because I'm a
southeast
great
of
wrestler.
Fjord.
You are.
I'm
Each
not.
of
I'm
them
not.
No, but
I'm
you-
not
favor.
like.
That's why you
Drop
don't
my
you don't
name
have
and
go-
they'll tell
that's-
you what
what
you
he's
know
saying
about
is
the
not like
dreams.
like certainly there's a handful of the audience that is genuinely like, get this guy out of here.
No one
because they're
ever
jealous.
achieved
Yeah,
the
that's
impossible
different.
without being
You-
a
you-
literal
you-
hero.
No,
you-
they are seriously.
Yeah.
They're,
We're
they're
about to
jealous
make
of you.
history.
I get that a lot too.
First,
My
You know,
I know that's why I was like,
But
my,
no,
my
they-
mom said the same.
But Logan, they're jealous of you. I mean, look what you've accomplished since you've come to WWE. Not only here, I mean, look what you've accomplished in your life. But I mean, it's the same thing for us. Like people sitting at home watching a show. Well, my God, Michael Cole sucks. He didn't know the name of that move or this or that. I would. First off, they're mad because they don't have my job. Second off, put them in that chair. Sit in that chair.
No, dude, your job is fucking crazy, Michael. I'm not kidding.
But people don't get it.
I know. I get it, which is why I have so much respect for you and the commentating team. I would rather do what I do than have to do what you do. Dude, how do you talk so much and not get tired?
I'm surprised I have a voice today because I blew it last
Seriously.
night. You know, I get tired. I don't get me, especially as I get older. You know, and I really have to take care of myself now. I eat right. I still like my whiskey, but work out. And seriously, at my age, you know, my wife's always like, "Why are you going to the gym again?" I go every day because it's not because I want to. Well, obviously, you got to look halfway decent when you're on television, right? But as you get older, you know, your body starts to break down.
Yeah.
And this job is very toxic, both mentally and physically.
worried.
People don't understand the physical
Who are
things
you
of it.
to
You know,
bother me?
3.5 hours jumping up and down, screaming,
don't
yelling,
mean
you know. It's
lot
hard.
of
So you got to try to stay in shape for that. Which, as I get older, I realize I need to do that. But our vocal cords. Now
My two youngest rangers were
Because
supposed
you're
to
thinking
report
about
back
it.
from
That's
their
what you're
labs.
thinking about it.
our vocal
I
cords are
assumed
muscles,
they'd turn up.
and just like
But it's been
anything
3
else,
days now.
I utilize
still
those
not
muscles
here.
at a very high level every week.
Oh, I get it.
And it has now these muscles are in they're in shape now, right? And so it's funny seeing broadcasters come into our business for the first time from other realms and try to do what we do, it takes them a long
If you
time.
met them, you'd
I remember one
understand.
of our announcers,
So
Kevin
besotted
Patrick,
they want
Kevin
the
Egan, he
airport
works
at
for the
all.
MLS now, but he
Melena and
he had
Alvaro
a
were
terrible
most
time with
promising
his voice.
recruits.
Like his first few months here, he could
Now,
not.
all they do is
He
sneak
wasn't in
off
shape
to-
to do this.
Dude, not even just the amount of talking. You have to be on. That's
I
like
think
I
they
could
know each
probably
other
do
very
this
well.
podcast audio and have like
There's worse
we
places
we've
to make
done
the
3 in a
four-legged
row,
beast.
maybe some days like
Promise you
4 in a
that.
row, and it's all right. But
New recruits
live
running
TV,
off with each other.
having to be on is like that's
This
the
brings
real
me back.
drain for me.
There's no net, right?
Anyway,
And
no,
it
I
is
never
live,
thought they had
and
any cause
you gotta,
for
and
concern.
especially in this day and age,
They
you got to be
always
very,
find a
very
way back
careful with what you
eventually,
say.
but
Obviously, you know,
they haven't
especially on,
this time.
you know, even with Netflix.
They're
like,
out there,
we thought
all
we were going to
alone,
be able to get
and
away
they
with a
could
few
be-
other things, but Netflix is very strict with that too.
I heard this.
Yeah,
Yes,
and-
people told me they're actually a little more.
The last
So
time
guys
I
like
saw
us that
them,
are
I
talking
sent
live,
them
especially
if
working with Pat, who's got no
young them do be
buffer.
wandering out
He's
by
just
a
Pat.
Consider
You
them
got to be really
found.
careful sometimes what you
Really
say,
good
especially,
equipment.
and that's another reason. And Pat keeps me young too. I've got to keep up to date with the phrases the kids use today and stuff like that, and make sure.
Try
that,
to make sure you have the right aura.
Well, yeah.
motion.
Also make sure that I'm not saying stuff that
Is an LT.
has like
right, exactly,
changed
yeah.
into a different. And also one thing I've noticed too, and maybe you noticed it, is like for some of the longer stuff, like some of these events that I do with Karate Combat are like 6-7 hours long.
right.
I heard there was
By
a new
hour
arrival,
4 or
but I
5,
didn't expect
that
a gun
that
like
barrier of like should
Welcome
I
to
say
our
this or not
modest
say this
workshop.
starts to kind of
Yeah.
like melt away a
Because you're
little
getting a
bit.
headache,
Bro,
you
you're
get
losing. You're
tired,
starting to
yeah.
become mush.
Yeah.
And all of a
I
sudden
was
things are coming out of your mouth.
educated
You're like, wait a
in
second, did I say that? Am I
laboratories
here?
of
What's
spin.
like, what's
In
going on?
halls
And the
of
problem with our stuff,
experimentation.
to your point, Logan, too, is it's
But
not
you
just
didn't
it's not
journey
just
all
being
this
on
way to
because
hear
it's
me
live
reminisce
television.
about the old country.
Every single match and character have to be given the same
Giada.
respect and
What a
gravity.
loss.
So I can't
I owe
treat
that
Logan
young
Paul
woman
any
more
differently than I
could
treat
ever
Ludwig
repay.
Kaiser, or I can't treat Roman Reigns.
Unfortunately,
So,
I cannot
like at
do
the
a
Rumble,
lick of research
I've got to
while
be
my
high
equipment
energy
is
for
underpowered
every
and
woman's entrance
overworked.
for 30, and then obviously as you get close to the finish and the big moves and putting everybody over, then you've got to be able to treat the tag team match with a new group, Motor City Machine Guns, at the same level you would treat the women at, because you don't want to feel like you're,
What
you're
I need
disrespecting
is
them.
a
Then you go into the Cody
power
match, which is
source.
just an intense ladder
Insane.
match, right? You got to that's a championship match, so you got to be up here. And then of course the Rumble, men's Rumble, which is the biggest event of the year, last.
Something
So you're
out
like
of
saving up energy.
Well,
Still limited
it's
by
hard.
our
You got to keep that
resources.
energy level the whole way,
Ah,
and then
I could
now you got
use a
30 men
large
entering. And
single
last
block
night,
of vodka,
you were in there. That
Harvesting
last
it is
6
difficult
in that
in
match,
this
I had goosebumps. It
Oh,
was
it's
incredible.
insane.
You had Hall of Famers in there.
One
Did you
of
think
our
about that at all?
rangers
Yeah, I'm
reported
getting
that an
goosebumps now.
It was. I mean, you're in there with
recently
guys: John
died
Cena, Seth
in a
Rollins,
Western Grove.
Punk, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso.
No, that was insane.
You know,
Insane.
I looked
Indeed,
around. I was
but
looking
that
at these
well
guys,
is
and I was just like,
almost dry.
damn,
I need more.
I'm right at home.
right?
And after
You-
God's
no, I know, but you
immense
felt
amount
it.
I was like,
but
I'm-
you
I'm
know
along
damn well deep
Drove
down
us to
inside
the
you were going,
west
how the hell
across
am I even
the
here?
chasm. You
Not
can't
at all.
miss it. The Rangers say
I was like, I honestly was like, how the hell is CM
you
Punk
may
still
be
here?
able to retrieve it without violence.
But I was the original Yeet, by the way.
Most
You were?
doggone
Yes.
parts are hostile.
When did this
Yes.
happen?
Yeah.
So you can understand why
Years,
none of us
years.
went
Oh,
rushing
In fact,
over
I
there
thought we
to
had put
find
that in
it
a
when we-
bulletproof coffin.
So
dude. I
did-
thought that was dumb.
So
Me too. I
did
can't
Jay
believe-
steal it from you?
Yes, and I'm
Criminal
sending him a
is not
cease and
exempt
desist.
these
I'm
days.
actually sending him a cease and desist.
Oh
Well,
my God.
let's go.
Not
That Outragon's hardness and
he will be
Yank
getting a
itself.
cease and desist, and I'm collecting everything. Everything.
Well, now he's the main eventer, so.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Let's talk about the other commentators in big sports, even under the TKO umbrella, the UFC.
Yeah.
When you look at guys like Joe Rogan, John Anik, even Daniel Cormier, Bruce Buffer.
Yeah.
It's funny.
What
He
do
came
you
on this
think of
podcast and he was saying the
Giada
same thing about how he
Well,
works out
my
and he's got to stay in
experiments have
shape.
been a
Bruce
little
goes hard.
Yeah.
When you look at guys
unpredictable.
like this, are
Like
you
The
Are
essence
you-
has
you-
no
is
sense
it-
of direction.
do you kind of see eye to
How
eye, and
did
is,
you
like,
know?
is it like a respect that
should
only like a
talk,
commentator can
but not here.
understand?
There is a respect, and one of the things that was really cool is when Joe Tessitore came aboard. Joe's a boxing guy, right? And I've
Yeah.
learned a lot from Joe today about combat sports. And when Joe came aboard, to me, you know, a lot of people loved the hire, a lot of people didn't like the hire, but to me, I loved it because I felt like it finally legitimized
on the voice.
what I've done
I'm sorry.
for 28
Not in
years.
a
We
place to
brought
talk right now.
a real, true life, legendary commentator. He was
Yeah.
called Monday
You
Night
don't
Football and college
understand
football and
what
everything
I've
else.
been dealing
He
with.
wanted to work here.
Yesterday,
He came to
I
us
made
to
an
work here, and
incredible
we brought him
discovery.
aboard, and that to me
We can
legitimized
use
everything I
half
did.
as much
And
power
I
to
think
achieve the same
there is
results.
that,
And then I thought,
I love Joe Rogan.
What if
I
one
mean, his
day
stuff is
it's a third,
he's
quarter,
a screamer and yeller, emotional. He's like
Yeah.
me, right?
Yeah.
And I just think
No.
across the board,
To harness these
um,
forces for so small
we
a price
commentators are this
is
fraternity
too much
because
power.
for so
Who
many
knows what
years we
kind
didn't
of
get the
chaos we'll
respect I
create.
think that we deserved.
I
But
have
now
been
in this
reading
new
your
era,
Anthony's
not
treatise
only
on
in
body
wrestling
count.
but just in life and in
Perhaps
the
she's
world,
right. Maybe
we're
animals
finally getting
should
respect
be
and we're
rated.
becoming personalities.
Dude,
you know?
I think social media is part of the reason
Yes.
for that. You know what I'm saying? Like
I've
you,
heard
you
the
can
temple
build
in
your
Paradise
personal
could
brand
use
and
another
and
priest.
dude, you
I'll
have
keep
an
reading.
entrance now.
Yeah.
It's usually
And people actually cheer.
yeah, they cheer. They always cheer before the show starts, or you know, there's little like pre-shows. We did one at the HQ. Man, they love you because you're building your personal brand, and then you just get to like people just get to listen to you. You're doing podcasts back to back to back
Yeah.
to back to back every week.
And I think too, you know, Logan, the thing about that is, the big thing for me is I'm finally myself. Like I think people looked at me as a corporate stooge, right, for Vince McMahon for so many years, and I really was a Vince puppet, and I'll admit that. And I would never ever trade that for anything because I learned so much under the man from a professional standpoint. But I think in the last few years since Pat came aboard, you know, I've just decided, fuck it, I'm myself. I'm going to be Sean Coulthard, my real name, right? I'm going to be that. I'm going to be the person that my friends know, the people that when I go have a drink at a bar, the guy who's sarcastic and laughs and has fun and loves this business because I really do. Everything that's given to me in my life, but it's fun, right?
I wasn't aware of how like down to earth you were.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, and
Why,
and also-
am I usually a prick?
We never really know what to think of, you know.
no, I don't know. I mean,
So-
bro, like you literally are like the voice of the WWE
For generations.
for
which-
28
yeah,
years,
yeah.
and so like I don't fucking know. You, in my opinion, you have every right to be like, fuck off.
Dude,
But that's not
I'm-
people's default always.
No, I just
I don't
listen.
know. we live in Hollywood. We used
Yeah,
to live in Hollywood.
I
man.
don't-
I still do.
the,
We meet some shitty people.
Yeah.
But the majority of people are usually
They're
pretty
they're,
good.
they're getting better because
Yeah.
they have
They
to.
have to,
But then
'cause-
you have the like, and I'll just say it.
Oh, I hope is somebody getting called out.
I mean, I don't know, bro. This whole like Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds situation.
Oh my God.
feels
Are
like
you
they-
filled in on it? Do you
they-
know the
yeah,
whole?
and they just seem so fucking out of touch.
Right.
With, like they're just not living in reality, and like people lose themselves in their own truth.
it happens in our business.
Yeah,
You see it.
yeah.
You know, people think they come into their stars and then they're going to leave and be a star outside of here. It doesn't
Yeah,
happen.
no,
Sorry.
no.
You know, our product makes you. Sorry.
Yeah.
100. Dude,
You
come
know,
on.
I mean, there's
This is-
very few Logan Pauls that come into our world and are successful. Most people get successful here. They think they can leave. Who's
Well,
done
this
it?
is what-
Cena, Batista, and Rock.
Yeah.
Rock, yeah. This is one of the biggest. This is possibly the biggest example of it. Like it is. Like you like think about it. When you talk to people outside of the WWE sphere about what happened at Rumble, as soon as Speed came, what the fuck you talking about,
Dude,
man?
the-
What are you
you
talking
like,
about? Did you hear about
The
the
name's
tariffs?
Keelan.
What are you saying
Pleasure to
right
meet you.
now?
90% of
You
the
know-
world don't even know what
Yeah,
wrestling
yeah.
is.
But that 10%.
Hilgard sent me to
That's-
Emerald
that-
Stair to keep
there's
an eye on
nothing
this
like
place.
it.
So, I
I had
think,
orders to make
you know,
contact as soon as you arrived.
I
won't talk long. He only wants
my
me to let
wife
you
is
know
the
I'm
main
here.
reason that I
If
am
you
the
need
way
to get
I am.
word to the ambassador.
She's not a
I'll be
wrestling
there.
fan. Doesn't watch a product. I go home and the last thing I talk
Besides
about
you
is
and
WWE.
me, no one
Really?
that I know of.
Never. I mean,
Keeps everyone
she
working
was
for
more
heel
excited when I
guards
told her
anyway.
this morning I was going to
I
do
can
Logan
tell you
Paul's
that
podcast.
he
I think
thinks
she
there's
worried
a
about anything
new
else.
entity
Hell yeah.
And,
and
and I'm doing
Nightmare
Pat
Squad
McAfee's show
is.
tomorrow, and she was
Between
more
you and
excited
me,
about me doing that
I
than
think they're
anything
up to
else.
something.
Yeah.
So,
But more excited about
yeah,
Paul's
and
more
and
excited,
Pat.
100%.
Yep, got it.
But she keeps me grounded. She really does.
I
I go home and I'm
suppose.
with her, and
But this
but
seems
listen,
worse
I'm
than
a
normal.
dude. I was brought up in
I
upstate
think
New
the
York, and I'm in
scale of their
Texas now. I got a
operation
ranch, and
is-
I'm an old redneck. Like
Hell yeah.
I dip tobacco.
Hell
I
yeah.
drink beer, and I like my whiskey. And last night, you know,
I suppose I can
that's
do
why
that.
I always stay away
Exactly
from
how far do you
downtown
want
in
me
these
to go
cities.
with this?
Like, I don't want that scene. Like, me and Wade Barrett went up to the bar last night.
Understood. Yeah,
what'd you guys do?
Hotel, Just
Until
we sat at the
later,
bar at
boy.
2:30 in the morning
Just talk
and
shit?
just talk shit. We didn't even talk about wrestling. Like, just talked about life,
No
right? And
way.
yeah, and it was great. It was that's me. That's what I want. I'm gonna leave here today and go sit in my hotel room the rest of the day, right? So,
Well, I don't know about that last part there.
yeah, that
What are you gonna? Just gonna just sit there.
Yeah, I'm chilling today. We're going up to Cleveland tomorrow.
But what will you do in the room?
I'll probably. I'll watch. I'm back into The Sopranos now, so
You
I'm watching
rerun in the
Yeah,
spring.
I'm rerunning
You've already watched it all.
Oh yeah, watch. This is the third time I've actually
Greatest
gone through
series
it.
of all time. Yes
Greatest
or no?
series of all time.
Nothing touching
The
it.
Wire is close too.
I love The Wire.
But Sopranos is nothing now, and I love going back now because even 25 years later, it's still timeless.
I'm rewatching season 2 of it right now, which by the way is potentially the best season.
I'm season 3 guy.
You really have
never seen it?
He's a little bit younger.
Dude.
I'm gonna give him a
Look,
pass on it.
he's been telling me for our entire relationship.
It's the
There's
greatest.
never been a bad episode. My favorite episode is Pine Barrens. When,
Of course. Well, that's
Paulie
the
and
most
Chrissy,
famous
yeah,
episode.
Yeah.
They saying he was an interior decorator.
It's so
Bro,
great.
it's the
just-
greatest series.
oh.
Maybe the problem for a lot of watchers, new viewers on it, is you do have to invest a little bit in season 1.
Yeah.
I think they're piloting. They're trying to get people excited about the show. They're trying new things. Like what was they had a character in episode 1 that went into the
Yeah.
store when Christopher was
Yeah.
ordering the food, comes back as a completely different character. Who was that? I can't remember.
I can't remember.
Now, yeah.
But how can you not get hooked though with Chrissy and Tony driving the car through the plaza and running a guy over and beating the shit out of him? Remember? How do you not hooked on that?
Logan,
You got to watch. You have to.
He feels out. He feels out.
No, I'm more interested in like these games,
Yeah.
or like Severance.
Severance is great. Have you started the second? Have you
So
started?
I'm so
So
excited.
we're one episode in the second season. Holy
I
shit!
heard it's more rich and potentially better
It's
than season 1.
Season 1. I didn't know if I was going to make it through it initially.
Yeah.
Like the first few episodes,
Yeah.
same thing with Sopranos. Like I was like, I don't know about this. And then, oh my god,
Dude, it is the only show where the last episode of season 1, I felt like this perfect mix of like fully fulfilled in terms of the questions I wanted answered and all the plot like holes I needed
Yeah.
to fill, but also I need more.
yes, and
What is
Where
happening?
it ends, it's like, oh my god.
Oh my
Wait to see how
God.
season 2 starts.
They waited a while.
3
between
years.
seasons.
Yeah.
Because it was that like
You know Ben's still a director.
yeah.
Yeah.
As far as like shows now, like it's comparatively to what HBO was doing on Sunday nights, 15 whatever it was
Yeah.
years ago. It's that, and then have you guys been watching Succession?
Yes.
You watch Succession? From
Great.
what I understand, is equal.
Awesome.
Like equal.
Unbelievable. There's and then I just finished American Primeval on.
Oh yeah. How's that?
Violent as shit. Like,
Really?
it's really, really good. Peter Berg's just awesome.
I'm watching. Maybe you guys haven't seen this, but I'm watching Fallout, which is based on the video game.
Oh yeah,
Fallout.
I've heard of that. I haven't seen it.
Did better than it.
Oh, were they around the same time?
Yeah.
They're different products.
Yeah, I know, but it's still just like I don't know. How did my boy Jimmy? Have you watched Beast Games?
No, not at all.
Give it a shot.
Okay,
That show is
well.
fucking sick.
I gotta tell my wife. She's my wife's the one who makes me sit down and watch this stuff. I'm Anthony. Like she's B, I'm A personality.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I'm always
yeah,
like I'm up
yeah.
5 in the morning with the dogs running around. But
Do you feel?
Um,
How do you feel about that opposite situation? I mean, it works for you.
oh my god, greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
What I've had to learn though, as I've grown
Take your
through,
best
through my
shot.
marriage, is because I'm intense. And I think
It's a lot. It's a lot to deal
I
with.
think it's why I'm good at my job too, right? But I think, and she's so laid back, and she's retired now, so she's just like, I'm gonna sleep till 10 o'clock, and I'm up at 5 with the dogs, the gym. I've learned to temper my intensity, and that's just helped. Like,
Hello.
I'm like an
Are
OCD
you a
guy.
fish
Like
too?
I have my calendar, right, and I got to go through my calendar and make sure that everything is checked off every day.
You should get the big ass calendar.
Oh, really? No, I don't.
There's a big ass calendar.
There is.
It's huge. It's
Oh.
a big ass calendar.
Okay.
Our boy Jesse Itzler
dream
made it, and
scotch.
everyone
That's
has
how
it.
it
You should get
starts.
Get
one.
it online?
Yeah.
She's
yeah.
probably
get-
arranged
I
with
just
Julia.
Snap out your whole year.
Cows
Oh,
will
great.
start.
Yeah.
So like, and my
You can
wife
use Logan 20 for 20% off.
Okay.
I got you,
that
Jesse.
actually true?
I got you, Jesse. Yes,
Did
thank
he
you.
give you a go?
But I won't like I go through the
Maybe
calendar.
you're
She thinks it's
Belena.
crazy. Like she's like she won't even look at the
Rosa de
calendar.
Lara.
Whatever. Just tell me what I
We
gotta do.
need
But
him.
no, I mean I mean that's why it works.
Do you think you could
Adelaro knows that
commentate for the
Adelaro
UFC if the
Adelaro's
roles were
face
reversed?
burst
I
into
don't
violence
know
when the
because
dreams
I
came.
don't.
Red
Could I do
violence.
it? Yes.
Yeah.
Could I be
He
good at
joins
it?
the
I'm not
others.
sure.
Why?
She's
It's
talking
not
about another
storyline
dream
driven.
throw.
It's not episodic
We better
television.
find him before he finds
the,
us.
The finishes aren't
She
predetermined.
watched
It's a
that
fight,
happen to
right?
him.
And you've got to know all that stuff. I think my job is much more difficult only because I have to
Your friends
weave in the
speak too.
stories and the character
They know
development.
us.
I'm not just calling
Help
a
us.
fight.
It's creative.
I
not
would
tactical.
agree.
Yeah.
I
But
would
now-
totally agree.
The real aspect of it is, you know better than anybody, is how what the misconception of people thinking that okay, it's rigged Rig's the wrong word. It's scripted. The finish we know, and they go through what they're going to do in the match. People misconstrue that to not think it's physical.
Yes, our lace when you attend
You
it.
athletes are the most.
We will
Listen,
speak to him.
I had a little run back
What?
when I was a heel where I actually got in the
Tell
ring.
us about
Terrible
the
what I
Laurel
did, but I took bumps, right?
Couldn't have been worse than mine.
Dude, but watch WrestleMania in 2011 when I had my match with Jerry.
Did you? I was in there. It did horrible. I took a kick.
Terrible, worst match ever.
Sink into the
But
earth
but
and
I got my
When
tooth
we
knocked
see
out,
him
two
again.
teeth
Oh,
knocked
actually?
out. Yeah.
He remember
CM
how
Punk
we
during the day
danced
as I
under
was
the
going over
moon?
my match with Jerry
Thank
because he's
you.
a friend of mine.
Give
He
the
just decided to
lieutenant
run
the
across the ring and
badges.
give me a knee lift. Well,
He
dummy me didn't
swims
move out
in
of the way,
the
knocked my
golden
tooth out.
bowl.
Then in the match, Jerry hit me with a drop
himself
kick that
Fidelio.
knocked my other tooth out. So,
He will
so I
understand
understand
us,
how difficult, but like,
Attila
and that's just
stumbles at the mouth of
taking
the
some
river
simple
above
bumps.
us.
Like, I don't know how
Please,
people that think,
help
like,
us
look at what
sleep
Kevin Owens did
soundly.
last night.
Dude,
They-
he came out of Gorilla. I don't even know if he was like fully conscious.
Dude.
This big, bleeding on 4 sides of it. I'm looking at Kevin. My only thought was, way to go, Cody.
Like,
You know, fuck this guy.
he
Fuck
picked
him
the
up.
guy up, he threw him through a table.
That was
and the guy
insane.
it turned inside. It was
Everybody's telling me they're like those are blood packets, right? Surely I'm like,
no,
I don't think so, man.
And then JD McDonough on Raw last week.
Oh no,
I thought he was dead. I really did.
Michael, tell me about that.
He came off that ring and he hit the desk so hard it moved our desk back. I seriously thought he was dead. And then, come to find out later, he had a punctured. Didn't he really hit his head? He had broken ribs and a punctured lung. And he went on and finished the match. Another 10 minutes.
So this is the craziest part about wrestling.
Because didn't that happen to you? Because you got hurt in the match.
Yes. I pulled my MCL mid-match. Like
That was on the
Lariat, right? No. This was in my 3rd match against Roman.
Right. I remember it.
Like I'm the main event. I got to show up. Right? I got Roman Reigns across me. Damn.
Wasn't even one of the big.
No. It was on some stupid shit. I'm much more focused on my mechanics now than I have been before, and also I'm gonna protect myself more because like sometimes like guys are stiff, and I'm really looking out for
Sheamus.
you. I haven't wrestled with him yet. Oh,
Good luck. Good luck.
Nah. So I'm gonna protect myself a little more. But if you're actually injured, you gotta not sell that you're injured unless it's part of the story. And then if you are injured, you should sell if you got hit in a certain. Like you have to do the opposite of what's true. And for a guy like JD, who broke his ribs and punctured his lung, you're looking at 10 more minutes of match in your head. You're
And
like,
he did it. How tough is that guy?
How the fuck am I gonna do this?
Right.
It's got to be all mostly adrenaline at that point.
Well, you look at other sports. A guy, what'd you say you did with the injury?
I tore my MCL.
Okay. So when a guy does that in the football field, he's out of the game.
Out of the
Gone.
game.
Goodbye. You guys have some sort of sick pride that you want to finish these matches when you get hurt.
Sadomasochistic.
It's crazy.
It's not just.
It's mad respect. But
I'll go ahead and speak for my guess is the majority of the roster. It's not so much like pride, and I mean, yes, it is. Maybe like 25% of it, but dude, we're dedicated to the product. We're dedicated to the product. Like,
isn't that amazing?
dude? You can't quit this company. You cannot let
But
this company
you're
go.
also.
I feel that like fully, and I've been here 3 years. I will not fail on behalf of the WWE.
Well, that and also for yourself. And I think that's why you're successful. And I think that's why the top level guys and girls in our company are successful. Because yes, they won't fail for the WWE, but they also won't fail for themselves.
Yeah, true. Yes.
You know, I feel like. Listen, I'm not. I bet you feel the same way I do. I'm not in my own horn, but I have failed very few things. Well, it must be nice, which is why I've gotten to where I am. No, I really, and I'm not trying to be an asshole about it or have an ego about it, but I've been very successful in everything I've done from college through my youth career to here. Oh yeah, I made mistakes, failures along the way, but for the most part, I've been pretty successful because I've got this unbelievable work ethic, like you do, like the stuff you all do, and that's what drives me. Like you were talking about this earlier. 28 years, I could be resting on my laurels. I could have retired. I couldn't have signed a new contract if I didn't want to, but every day I feel like, okay, I thought I had a great Rumble. I got to have a good Raw on Monday. And I got to have a great Raw the next week because if I don't have a good show, it hurts you guys. It hurts the boys and girls that are in the ring because you guys are drawing money and you guys are trying to establish a product. I have got to be on every single time that I am
See,
on.
I love that org related sentiment, and it's something that in our world we don't feel. We're all bosses,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, until WWE, it was the same for him. It's like, dude, if I want to do this, I'm gonna do this. If I want to take a risk in this direction and it fucking fails, who cares? Like, it doesn't. I haven't felt that mentality in a long time, and I'm jealous. I'm
It's
actually
sick, Mike.
super envious
It's
of
sick.
it.
I
Super
I
envious
tell
of it.
people, I'm like, dude, I love having a job.
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
love
yeah,
working
yeah.
for the WWE.
We're a family.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
dude,
so
it's-
sick.
We're a family. You see it at ringside, and you've gotten.
Bro.
So I've really watched the maturation of you over the last few years and how comfortable you've gotten with us. You know, like in the beginning, it was like, you know, we didn't. I don't, especially me. Like I didn't know how to act toward Logan Paul. I don't think Logan Paul knew how to act toward us. And now you're part of the family now. And
It certainly feels like it. You know what? Well, I'm pretty closed off in general. Like, dude, my team is extremely skinny. Like for the output that we do, there's literally like 4 or 5 of us. And I like it that way because, like, in general, I don't like people.
Right.
And then over
Join the club.
Yeah, you know, I just don't. I used
Can't
to,
relate.
and then now I'm just. Hey,
Talk
love
to
everyone. Talk to
everyone.
everyone. But no, I started to like open up a little more, and it takes some time with me. But I realized like kind of how similar everyone is backstage.
Yep.
And the saying that I feel like fits the vibe like of WWE is we're all here because we're not all there.
That's right.
Everyone's a little,
It's the
cuckoo.
island of misfit toys.
Yes,
is what it is.
and that's what it
Yep.
feels like. Everyone's like witty, just like fucking with each other, like laughing, having fun. And there's a lot of good people in the company.
To see CM Punk having the fun he is today after what he went through 10 years ago is
Yeah.
incredible. But like you guys, like your chemistry is what is Pat and I chemistry. There's the introvert and there's the extrovert,
Yeah,
and that is
yeah.
how it is. Like with McAfee, like I'm like you. I don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
I don't. I got to be polite, obviously, but I just want to keep my head down and go do what I got to do. Pat, holy shit.
And he's like that behind
Oh
the scenes.
my God.
Bro, I remember when I met him.
Every single
He came up to me.
in
He's like, "Bro."
person. He had a 15-minute conversation with a security guard
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
God, we got to go to Gorilla.
He
We got to
sees
get
it
out
all
in
the
ring.
time, bro. He sees it with me all the time.
Craziness. But listen, we have an unbelievable corporate structure. And Nick Khan, Paul Levesque, Lee Fitting, those three men have changed my life. I'll forever be indebted for them. And it's because of that mentality and because of the trust that they put in all of us is that I would go through a wall for them.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, you really, I mean, Paul and I, Hunter and I have been together since day one. I mean, he gave me a wedgie my first 2 months here on television.
That's
right?
how ours started.
Right, and we've been together forever. And he, you know, Paul and I professionally, I mean, it's just an unbelievable relationship. He trusts me, I trust him. Nick, as you know, is just an incredible human being. I don't know if you had much interaction with Lee yet, but Lee is
A little bit, yeah.
Lee's a genius.
Yeah, he gave me some
what he
nice,
does.
he gave me
That
some
was
nice
interesting,
compliments.
right?
Yeah.
No, we can see it in the
Women
product.
arguing about the
And
crops
it's cool.
failing.
I think they're also. I think the
Standing up for
company
what
now
you
is a
believe
little,
against authority.
from what I
can
hear,
respect
more receptive
Of course.
to the ideas that
My
the talent
method
has.
Oh my
Run
God.
away under the cover
Dude,
of night,
it's
never
so
to
different.
return,
Like,
but
for the most
yeah,
part,
this
our
works
talent are given bullet points for their promos,
Yeah.
and they're not really scripted much
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
I mean, there's certain things you all have to hit because the storylines,
Yeah.
right? But so they're able to be themselves. Who knows the character more than
Yeah,
you guys, right?
yeah.
That's really important. Putting together matches is now become Paul, the producers, and the talent.
Yeah.
Which
When
I think-
before it was Vince, right?
Yeah,
That was-
yeah.
You know, so
It's more that I don't
and it's
think my
really helped the
beliefs worth
product,
standing
and
up
people are
for.
having fun. Dude,
Life's simpler
everyone,
that
you
way.
know, you see the locker room now.
Anyway,
People are
There's
having
clearly more going on here than a
Because of
bunch
themselves.
animals who
And
sit
I
in
think it's even
dusty
more
labs
important
doing
nowadays, too,
whatever they
as
do all day.
there is some
Beyond
breakout
that,
from the silo that is the
I can't help
WWE
you.
being the only
Call me
platform.
when you're
People
back
have their
to
own
facing real
platforms.
danger.
So if he's going to go out and tell a story,
Changing the
and then he's
subject.
going to go and put that on his channels with 25,
Ask
30
away.
million followers in the channels, of course he wants the story to be creatively aligned with what he wants
Yeah.
it to be to an extent at least,
Yeah, of
right?
course.
So it seems like in that respect even the WWE is making all the right plays.
Well, and the company was so restrictive for so many years. Like, you know, our talent wouldn't be able to go out, and you know, we had a big controversy over the Twitch streams a few years ago. And,
Yeah.
you know, but now everything's open up. Go be a brand.
Speed.
The big thing about our company,
Kai.
the big thing about our company is we want you as a performer to develop your brand. We, in fact, have people in place in our offices that are helping our talent, especially younger talent,
development.
help them grow their brand.
I feel like I should be on that team.
You probably should.
100%.
Oh, I'm trying to get McAfee to get on that team too. I think you guys are
Dude, I'm definitely gonna reach out about
unbelievable
that.
examples of people that have just created something like out of
There is
thin air.
something
Really,
big in the
really. I mean,
southeast
the
of
stuff that you've created to
Most
me.
hunters say to
and
stay
I'll
away
admit again, I'm learning, right? I'm learning over the years of all what you all do, and I didn't know Logan Paul at all a few years ago when you came to the company. Obviously, I
I'm
had to learn more
surprised at
about
how
you.
much more
And the
deadly
more
it
I
is than
read,
it
and
used
it's
to
like
be.
I'm just completely
Hunting was
blown
great
away
here.
with
And there
with
were
what
edible
you've
plants
created. And the
everywhere.
same thing with Pat. I mean,
That's all
you know,
still
he's an NFL
true,
punter.
but
Like we always knew he was
I never
entertaining,
used to
especially
worry
as a
about being
player.
strangled
But to
by a
create what he's
wild brute
created, and
while
he's
It's incredible.
It's
Incredible.
craziness.
The
And
challenge
like
keeps
I have
things
so much
interesting,
respect
right?
for that.
You
Like
earn every breath out of it.
I'm a lifer. I'm a
Well, dude,
WWE lifer.
I appreciate the kind words.
You know?
Seriously. I want to say one thing
Most
about
of
the
this is
JD spot.
probably old information.
Perhaps
for
you could help me understand
But
why he
you
did that.
ask.
I have no idea.
Less urgency
I
for
texted
shelter.
him the other day. I said, "Dude, what do
You
you
can
think?"
find shrubs to
why
block
did
the
he do
wind
that?
or tree cover
I
to protect
I
from
texted
rain.
my match producer.
There's also
Shane.
plenty
Yep,
of
my
food
guy.
around too.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like,
Hurricane.
yep.
Rule of thumb.
We were talking
bread,
about it, and I was like,
don't eat. Or if
Shane,
it
like
makes you
this
itch.
wouldn't have even made it
There's
past
also
like the
just about any
ideation
kind of
phase.
game you can
Like
imagine.
with the
Just make
distance,
sure whatever
but
you
that
catch doesn't
distance
have
and then
mushrooms
the table
growing
right
out of
there.
its face.
They probably just called it in the ring.
Oh,
That's
and
probably
be
what they did.
careful when you leave the roads.
Crazy.
You
He's
never
insane.
know when
He's-
that deer you
we
killed was
make
some
fun of him all the time
Delmodog's
because he's got a big head and stuff.
favorite
Yeah,
pet.
but he is one of the nicest guys on the planet. He's a hard worker,
Yeah.
very
I get a
respectful.
weird
I love
feeling when I
JD.
get close
I've
to
loved
Lake
him since he
Lacuna.
was back, you know, in the
Like,
NXT
there's
UK days. and
something there that
Jordan
shouldn't
Devlin,
be.
and just a really cool dude. We have so many great people.
Yeah, dude.
Right.
Yeah,
Changing
dude.
the subject.
It's sick company to
Yeah.
work for,
It
dude.
really is.
You don't always know why shit
just
happens,
tell you
dude.
what I
Like,
told
look
you
at the
last time
Doncic,
you asked me that.
AD trade.
Nothing
That's
has
nice to
changed.
see
Oh
that.
my God!
Who knows?
We were
Who
sitting
knows
at the bar
what
and
people are thinking
I
half the
actually
time.
screamed,
Yeah.
"Holy shit!"
If I must.
No, it's
Wade's
insane.
like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Donick just went to freaking
Insane.
the Lakers." Like,
Insane.
I heard a lot about that.
What was going on behind the scenes?
Yeah, I was
and
reading a
shit.
lot about that
100%.
today. Yeah, not being in shape.
Prime sponsors the Lakers, so
There you go.
No, bro, it's a
go.
really it's a big deal.
And,
Let's
and by the
go.
way, like the Prime logo on the mat,
crazy.
and now all the logos we've got on the mat, like this would have never happened. We always, I understood Vince's perspective that that was sacred.
Yeah.
But it's 2025.
You know
Oh,
where
hey there.
you know where it makes it
Something
a
on
little
your mind.
difficult for talent, especially if talent is trying to build their brand.
It just
The last
Took
thing
me
you
back.
want in your really cool
Something
move,
about her
pose,
reminded me of
like
old
is
times.
or you
Don't say
with the
brand.
title
Brand.
is a brand.
Yeah, but
is a brand.
yeah, but when
like,
when Logan Paul is in the ring and this is brand,
for me it's fantastic. For me
It's just got to be the right brands too. Like I would want to get my head smashed in over a Wingstop logo. Are you serious? That's amazing, dude. That's what That's all we talked about for the rest of the night last night. You wanted to go to Wingstop.
you were talking about the branding thing,
close
though,
to
right?
you
Like
beyond
it's funny,
help
like
that.
I'm sort of developing my own brand, like, and I'm
just
not
want
even
to
working
know.
on it.
Is it a
It's just-
competitive hydration
You were
product?
blunt
No.
when you told her about Adelara.
Imagine if it was.
There are a lot of things I've thought about, but no, that would be great, right? And by the way, I'm going to have my new Michael Cole drink on the thing. No, it's just like it's just funny how it just
She
starts
did.
to evolve, right? Like I
Yeah,
never
and
really
even in
thought
the
in those
state she was
terms
in,
until I
she
started
handled
working
it
with Pat. And Pat's like,
better
you're
than
missing out on
most.
yes,
so much stuff
yes,
too.
all the talent are.
I need a moment to
All
clear
the
my
talent
head.
are. Everyone should be thinking about how to not just build yourself, but how to build businesses, long-lasting businesses that have impact. It's the next level of conversation, and use the vehicle you've been given. Use the vehicle you've been given. I think every talent in the WWE should be thinking like that.
Yeah.
And it would be cool to be on that team to potentially like
You have to do
help,
that.
help build
You
it.
have to
'cause
do that.
It's pretty. I see it pretty clearly for some of the folks. In
Yeah,
there.
I mean, there's a lot that could really
For
be
sure.
really be building off on that.
One last question for me: If there's a future Don Imus, Mike and the Mad Dog,
Yep.
I know I'm hitting you in this sweet spot right now, watching this right
of
now.
course.
Future commentator for the WWE. How could they potentially break through into the space in a time where it's very noisy out there? Do you have any advice?
Are
for
you
somebody
just talking about wrestling, or are you talking
no,
about
just in general. I mean, like if they want to get into the funnel.
It's hard. It's much
Especially
harder than it was.
nowadays,
When I went to college in the mid '80s, I went to Syracuse, which is a hotbed for sports broadcasters.
Yeah.
And luckily at the time, there was 4 television stations and a couple cable TV stations. And there was no social media. So there weren't a lot of jobs then. So I was pretty privileged to get. I was the youngest announcer ever hired by network radio when I got out of school, and so I was lucky. But now there's so much programming out there that if you want to be a broadcaster, you can get in, go to school for it, work on it, get in at a small level, and just build yourself. You can only do it through reps, as you know.
Yeah, okay, but also how much of it is like the voice? Because like you're very listenable.
Listenable. There's a lot. I did voice training in school and stuff like
yeah?
that. But but it
You
is
have,
the
you
voice.
have the radio.
Yeah,
You
have the voice.
You listen to Tessitore. He's an
Of course.
unbelievable
Of course.
voice. That has a ton to do with it.
It does.
You don't
right?
hear a lot of high-pitched, squeaky
No,
people
dude.
doing,
No.
Wade Barrett's got that nice English baritone that just sticks out. Pat is, Pat, and it's just that has a lot to do with it. But
does.
it's experience more than anything else. It's just going out there and being able to do. I got lucky that I hit news radio at the time when that was. If you wanted to be a serious journalist, you went to news radio at the time.
Yep.
And that's and I got lucky and I got to cover some unbelievable things that really helped shape my life. And then coming into wrestling, I at least had a broadcasting background, and I had done some sports too. I just had to learn this product, but I was ahead of the game when I got here, which is good.
How much more you got in your contract? Can you say?
Yeah, 8 years.
Amazing.
All right. Well, hopefully we ride out these next 8 years together, Michael.
I do. Well, hope you're going to be here that long. We need you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love it, man. I
Yeah.
love it. As long as they'll have me, and as long as the fans keep booing.
Yeah,
Stick
listen,
around.
I'll be honest, Logan, and just time to, pat you on the back a little bit. First off, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of
I never
course.
thought in a million years, when I told my kids I was doing your podcast, they were like, "You? You're an old man." I said,
No.
"Yeah," but I said, "I am so excited. You know what I'm saying? How excited I am to do
man.
this." But like when you first came aboard, like, and again, I didn't know much about you.
Sure.
I learned so much over the years. Like I was like, here's another celebrity guy going to come in, going to do a match,
Bad
whatever.
Bunny.
Roll my eyes at it. Yeah,
Like Bad Bunny.
he did well though.
Yeah, he did well. He's good.
But then you just like and I was impressed when Pat had his matches. Like
His match
freaking
was he's an
incredible.
athlete.
Oh my God,
I was
he
too.
is.
I was like, damn.
I have never, and I'm not just blowing smoke here. In the 28 years I've been in this business, I have seen all-time greats, Hall of Famers. John Cena, one of my great friends, and I believe the greatest of all time because of longevity and how long he's been on top. For me, though, Logan, I've never seen anyone come into this business, and I know you said you wrestled your whole life and everything. This is different, and I've never seen anybody come in and do what you've done in such a short period of time. It is absolutely amazing to me, and I'm not just saying that because I'm on your show. And I've said it on the air. It's just I've never seen someone take to this. Not only the skills in the ring, but I'm talking about promos and the way that you manipulate the crowd and just that personality and that R. It's different, and I've never seen anybody come into this business with that ever before.
And I'm only getting better. Thank you. That makes me feel a way I can't even describe because emotions are a little weird for me.
They are for me too, but I'm
I'm
starting to get a little bit more emotional as I get older, I think.
Yeah.
It's easier when you say something that is extremely objective and factual.
Well,
it
and
just it changes the dynamic of the conversation.
And I mean it. I seriously mean it about you. Like I did not know what to expect working with Logan Paul. I don't
Yeah.
think anybody did.
Yeah.
You are completely different than I thought you were going to be. Intelligent. It's
Thank you.
unbelievable.
Thank you.
But the emotion is, as I get older, I think I get more emotional, and obviously with children,
Yep.
it's a very
Yep.
important thing. But I think that's the other thing over the last few years of how I have gotten better at my craft is allowing myself to be emotional. Like Cody Rhodes, for instance. Cody and I've known Cody since he was a kid.
Yep.
And, been through all the trials and tribulations with that guy. And when he won at Mania last year, like I legitimately cried. Like it was because of what he's gone through, right? I know when John has his last match, because of what I went through with him, it's going to be a very emotional moment. But I think that helps me with the audience because it's like, this guy's real. Like this isn't fake shit. This isn't scripted. This is Michael Cole loving not only a product, but people that he's known for his whole life. And you want them to be successful. And I hope that I'm able to call the highlights of your career, because I would love to develop that relationship with you where I'm able to be emotional about you winning your first world championship, which will happen, and stuff like you're winning a Royal Rumble, you winning Money in the Bank. I'd like to be emotional about that. And hopefully this is our first step on that road together to be able to do that.
Well,
so
I mean, inshallah, God willing. How are you getting to Cleveland?
McAfee's got a private jet.
Why don't you come on ours instead?
But I'm doing his show tomorrow.
Damn.
They're flying there today.
Yeah, I know. That's I heard. But yeah, I'm doing.
What jet is it?
I don't know what he's got.
Well, we got a G5, so
You know,
it's a little
Pat,
bigger.
I got to call you. Maybe I don't do your show tomorrow.
I hope he has a G6. That would make me so happy, dude.
No way. No way.
But do you know what you're doing tomorrow?
I don't know what I'm doing yet. But I know we're going to Cleveland, which is just where I'm from.
Yeah.
I'm from Cleveland.
Yeah, they really loved you when you came out at SummerSlam.
Man, honestly, what the fuck?
That was so funny.
What? Show some respect.
This has been fun, guys. Really, I never thought in a million years I'd be on a
Dude, this was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Just
guys.
as rich as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Michael, truly, thank you
Thank
so
you, guys.
much. Keep doing good work. And yeah, man, let's
Good
write
work.
out these great work.
Okay, I was
Great,
gonna say, come on.
stupendous, stellar, magnificent work. Michael Cole, ladies and
Thank you,
gentlemen.
guys. Thank you.
Wow. Like and subscribe.
Please.
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 Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the vlog. What the heck are you doing up there? He's going in the shark tank. Pump going in, and then this runs all the way to the bridge tank.
We're gonna start filling the bridge tank.
Water is going to start draining from the shark tank and going into the bridge tank. Kind of brings up the question, why the heck are we doing it like this? Why are we pumping water from the shark tank into the bridge tank and not just using the valve?
My idea with the shark tank was we're not getting the sharks immediately. We're gonna be only getting the school of fish, the pilchards that will be going in it. I don't need this tank completely up and running, and this is a lot of the water. You know, I can only make 6,000 to 9,000 gallons every single day, so this is kind of a waste. I can also warm the water up in here rather than just like waiting to make it. So I use this as a seed tank. I was able to get the bioload started early compared to everything else, and I can take water from here, relieve some of the pressure off of the poly bead filter, because underneath those two coral inserts is where they're running a return and a single drain. That thing is rated 20,000 gallons, something like that. With the fish in there, they're going to create a lot of bioload themselves, because there's going to be almost 1,000 of them moving around in the school, which is going to look beautiful. If I lessen the water level and take some of this water that's cycled out to fill another tank, I'm not only helping this system out, but I'm helping myself with another system too.
What the heck is this? You playing Halo?
Yeah, heck yeah, man. Got home yesterday and my dad just on a whim ordered the family new swim goggles, not knowing that this was even happening.
Sweet, so you get to
I'm
break
set.
these in?
Heck yeah, dude.
Let's go see if these bridge tanks are starting to fill up. Oh yeah. Oh, the double fill? Double fill. There you go, guys. How cool is that, Jeff?
Oh, it's so exciting.
Lori's gonna flip. She's not even here right now. She's gonna freak when she gets back.
I mean, we're finally at this point where we're filling up the bridge tank. Bridge tank. Brian's gotta be smiling right now.
Oh, he is for sure smiling, and so are all of us. This was the dream tank. So for this to get filled up with water, it's a big deal. Lights were already hooked up. You saw in the video the other day, and if you didn't, the heck are you doing? Go watch the video. Go watch it from the other day. Come on, the card's right up here.
Pouring it out of a bucket, you get big splashes like this, and then it's harder to blend them in.
Cool. So to get these little wispy ones, little bit.
Technique, yep. Just a little bit goes a long way, especially light over dark. So if you do it this way, then you get big splotches. This is the main area.
So sick. I can't wait to see just the color pouring out is gonna look wild.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. I like this color. This is really nice.
Believe it or not, guys, we are actually on the Reptarium floor right now. I'm on a little paper island over here because, as you can see, the floors are actually getting done right now. I'm not really supposed to be even over here, but I asked the guys and they said I can get some shots. So what do you say we sit back and watch and see the actual blue color get poured for the gift shop floor? Wow, this is gonna be sweet. Floors like this are definitely not cheap. The reason for doing it is not only because of how amazing it's gonna make the aquarium look, but it's also a statement piece, a part of branding and marketing. I mean, if you see us film a video on these floors, you don't even need to know that it's from the Legacy Aquarium to know it's from the Legacy Aquarium. It's crazy to see a process like this happen. I mean, literally, we're watching this place come to life right before our eyes. I am just so excited because these are some of the final steps left to do before we can do the rest of the finished work and actually open up the Legacy. I cannot believe this day is here, and I'm having such a blast just sitting back and watching it all unfold. What's going on?
Bulkhead's leaking.
Okay, hopefully just a bulkhead, you think?
Yeah, hopefully.
Don't untighten it.
Well, which one is that?
Forget the rhyme.
Oh no. What? Have Grayson shut it off.
You think you got it?
Yeah,
what was going on?
Just a nut was loose. Something simple.
Terrifying.
I can't remember the last time I ran that fast.
Think it's okay?
Yeah, I don't see any more dripping. This is why we check it as we go.
We're back at the Shark Tank. Look at this, look at this, look at this.
He looks like Master Chief.
I didn't employ any nerds. Him and Grayson in there right now. They're still doing the clean on the shark window. Of course, we still had a lot of work to do on the acrylic, any of the salt residuals that were left over from filling the tank. The guys are in there, you know, doing their best. They don't have weights on, so it's kind of funny to watch them struggle.
Every day here at the Legacy Aquarium is absolutely a trip. You never know what you're going to see. Sometimes you're going to see some of your friends diving in a shark tank, and other times you're going to see AJ pulling his hair out. But either way, we're having a great time. Am I right?
Good. Cold, but it's definitely looking a lot better now. The big thing we need is just a coarser strainer, because when we're trying to strain the stuff out of the sand, it's just taking up all the sand with it. It's kind of not working as intended.
Kind of like the mask.
Yeah, exactly.
2 out of 5 stars.
Yes.
This isn't what I was expecting. What happened here?
This isn't what I was expecting either.
I thought we were going to go with a canister.
We were. So originally the whole time I said canister, just because of the weird confinements of this area. And then I started looking into the biggest, best canisters, and none of them were really going to be good enough for this. I just got to do what's best. So we custom made a signature sump as big as we could. That's what we did. So this is just another custom filter that can handle this much water and this livestock a lot better than any canister. It's actually better for us. Obviously, long term, we want sumps on everything. I hate canisters. You
I
hate
can tell you right now, I know the guys are going to be happier to have this to clean than the canisters, because they hate the ones we have across the street.
I know what it takes. I know what it takes for those. They do all kind of suck. They always end up leaking, and they're really not even as good. So it would take like 2 or 3 good canisters to do what this is going to do. And they're going to be familiar with this equipment, obviously, because it matches everything else.
Yeah.
I think it's taken like 3 days to get the concrete out of these. Like this would have been completely done like last week. The inlets and outlets, those are the only 2 protrusions we got, and they were
been our bane
filled
of our
with concrete.
existence,
Yeah.
haven't
The
they?
littlest, like, no one's even thinking about this, you know, as being a big deal. And it took them more time to clear out these pipes than it did for Stingray. It was almost like steel concrete. It took like literally hours and hours of grinding, clear out the pipes so we could actually start plumbing to it.
Well, shout out to our team. I'm way happier and excited on this versus that. It's just another cool feature, and like you said, this is one we're going to be doing feedings and stuff in too. So this will definitely help keep it so much cleaner.
What are you doing?
About to put some rock in here. Gonna need plenty of places to hide. This tank's already still trying to clear up, so I might as well put rock in it if I'm gonna mess up some of the sand anyway. I gotta do a small water change on here to get it to cool down a bit. It's at about 78 degrees. I want it at like 75. Another thing to touch on too, guys, I just spoke with the representative from Dynasty Marine who we're getting our large saltwater order from. Unfortunately, our female reef octopus that we had procured for us laid her eggs, which means that she's entering into senescence, which is the late stage cycle that all cephalopods go through. You know, the females are great because they live a little bit longer than the males, but even with the females, their lifespan can maybe be a year. If you're lucky with the smaller species, we could have gotten her a couple weeks ago and lost her 2 weeks later. I spoke with Dynasty. We chose not to transport her just because, you know, that's a lot of stress on an animal who's already working her way through the end of her life. They did procure us a different species, Insularis. They are actually invasive to the Caribbean, and so they collect a lot of those. Very similar body type, color, all that kind of stuff, but the mantle is a bit bigger, so we'll have a bigger individual, hopefully a younger one too. We don't want to make any promises because this one could show up too, and it could be a female and lays her eggs. So that's a process we're going to be working through as we go along. We want to build a connection with these octopuses that we're going to be getting in, but that is a sad fact of having them on public display or even in a home aquarium. All right, guys, I just finished up. I'm not going to add any more rock right now because I can't really see everything too well because I kicked up a bunch of stuff again. Another thing to realize is we don't want to overcrowd the bottom in here because I'm not accounting for any PVC tubes I'm going to throw in here for him, any of the toys and the enrichment items that I'm going to have set in the tank that will stay in there for a good amount of time, just to keep him engaged. I mean, these are such smart animals. They're also very good at getting out of tanks. Now, we're going to foolproof it, but if he's got stuff to mess around with, he's going to have less time to try to get out.
What the heck is this?
Well, Grayson's destroying my light right now.
Yeah, Gray.
Lori was nice enough to let me bump the heat up in here so I could get the tanks up to temperature, because we have that nice inline heater that Steve got me, but the problem with it is I've got so many gallons of water, and you know that inline heater maybe work overnight, but maybe not during the day when I gotta fill those vats up, make salt water, and get them into the exhibit. It's actually making our pipes sweat, and so we have to get some insulation rolls on there to prevent any, you know, toxins or heavy metals drip down into the Stingray tank. Heavy metal? Stingrays are, you guys will get familiar with this term, elasmobranchs. Elasmobranchs are very susceptible to copper. The nice thing too is these ladders are fiberglass, so they are safe to be in those exhibits. It's better to do it now with no stingrays in it than with stingrays in it, so that's what's happening.
This last week has been a whirlwind. Every single day there's been massive changes, and everyone's been a rock star, knocking everything off the to-do list one by one. Tanks filling up, Reptarium getting done, floors getting finished, lights turning on in tanks. I mean, I hope you guys are having as much fun as I am seeing all the action happen. We've been waiting literally years at this point for moments like this, and I'm just so filled with excitement knowing we're getting closer every day. I know you've been over here a lot, but I think there is something you haven't seen yet.
There's a few already. Oh, everybody's swimming, dude! Oh, it's got water. Oh, that's got water. A tiny, tiny.
You're missing it. Look at the floor.
Not done yet.
There's a floor over there.
Are the lights on? Oh, look at that! Look at that!
Obviously, there's orange on this side, but they just put the paper down so we can walk.
Wait, you can still see it? Dude, this room, listen. There's no way you guys are seeing this like we're seeing it.
Not even close, dude. Like, look at how blown out the tanks are just to even look. It's not even close.
I'm scared to step on the floor. You guys, this looks so sick. Dude,
I know, huh?
Look at the floor. I cannot wait till we have all of these full of... Sure, the water's gonna make it look awesome, but like, even the black walls look purple right now. And I have 20/20 vision, so any of you guys that are saying, me, see the shirt? Look at the keys! My keys match this, dude. What else is done?
Oh, dang, bro.
I am very excited, and I know we've shouted out Reef Breeders a ton, but kind of let you guys see a little bit of how easy it is. You know, we have all these little sliders here. So these sliders can help me adjust. So if I want to go full on the blue, it adjusts almost immediately. So everything is Bluetooth. I could be at home and I can change the lights on.
Is that how you relax?
Yeah. So we don't have any cold water tanks, but this is a deep sea themed tank. We want it to feel like open ocean, you know, either a jutting that's going deeper into the water, and we're gonna have white light on tanks surrounding this one. And so we don't want another white light tank to be drowned out by these two. So we want this one to stand out, and the anemone tank is gonna be right here. That one's gonna be a different kind of spectrum too. So I want this one to stand out, but I also want corals to pop too, because this is a very unique coral fixture in this system compared to all the other ones.
I can't believe I'm about to say this, but fish get here tomorrow. And that's absolutely amazing news, because the Legacy Aquarium has been getting built for like 2 years, and we're finally talking about fish. Water is in all of the tanks that it needs to be, but there's a huge problem. And that huge problem is that there's a giant series of snowstorms literally heading our way right now. And the truck carrying all of our fish and stingrays and all that stuff just left Florida right now. Believe it or not, guys, we are at the point where the stingray tank is ready for stingrays, and that's great news because stingrays are literally on their way. So far, no snow on the ground outside, but good chance that's gonna change. So let's hope, fingers crossed. Brian, we need you on this one. Make sure that these fishies get here safe. I wanted to get AJ and let him tell you a little bit about how difficult it is to do a fish shipment no matter the conditions.
Probably one of the biggest things that has happened here so far. I mean, contractors are easy. It's just guys coming in and doing a job. This is going to be 4 hours of stress. Moving fish is probably one of the hardest animals to move. Mammals are easy. Usually you can get an enclosure set up for them. You don't have to worry about parameters too much. Reptiles are easy. Just moving from one enclosure to another. We've been filling these tanks, doing all the biological work with the nitrogen, with the ammonium chloride. We did do a lot of early startups on our cycles, and so that's why we were able to work a little quicker. A lot of public aquariums use stuff like Dr. Tim's, who his products are fantastic. We were able to get, you know, Stingray up and running pretty quickly after Roger came in and did all of the finishing work, fixing this exhibit, which we were very thankful for, because, you know, worst case scenario on this, we would have had to put him in our shark tank temporarily, which we did not want to have to do that. We're pretty happy with how this has turned out. You could do everything right. You could cycle a tank for 2 months, do every single water change right, have all the bacteria in the right place, and your fish could come in and you could still lose them. We're not just getting fish, we're getting elasmobranchs, invertebrates. And those things do have a little bit more susceptibility to changes in water parameters, pH, and so that's something that we have to keep in mind as we work through this entire process. We have a lot of professionals that are coming in with Dynasty Marine, who's delivering our Caribbean order tomorrow. We're also going to have our aquatic vet on staff. I have pretty much the entire Reptarium crew egging to get over here and help us move these animals, which I'm very happy for. But yeah, we are going to have all these large systems that we need to fill individually. It's going to take time. Obviously, the cow-nose rays are of importance. They're the largest animals, so we want to get them ready, moved around. You know, we feel pretty confident. I feel good about it. We put a lot of hard work into this, and I'm really, really waiting for all that payoff to hit and the relief.
Well, you deserve it, bro. You guys have been crushing over here. I can't believe we're saying that they're going to be here
It's
tomorrow.
awesome to think about. I've already talked with the other suppliers too, so we can start staggering in all the smaller orders once this big one is done. I am bringing on a new staff member next week to kind of help me take care of the animals while we also backfill everything else too. We've got some cool stuff, coming, but cooler stuff is even yet to come.
I mean, it already looks beautiful. These colors are amazing, but unfortunately, once they get this all done and looking nice today, they're gonna go back and rough it all up. They have to do that for the acrylic clear coat to actually stick to the rest of it. It's gonna look great by the end of the day today and then get absolutely destroyed tomorrow, only to look good again a few days later when they get that clear coat on and buff everything out. I've been trying for like the last week to get shots of that floor pour, and I'm so excited. Lori's on her way over here right now. I think she's gonna be psyched that I got the shots too, because we only really got cell phone videos up until now. I think I got some really cool shots. Let me know down in the comments if you think so too.
Lori, you're never gonna believe this. I got shots of them pouring the floor.
Here we go.
Like sweet ones too. I think you're gonna like it. Yeah.
The weapon's not doing the job.
I didn't even see it really. I just saw it from the floor level, but
Look at that blue. Look at that blue.
Yeah, Lori.
How pretty is that? I like it a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. Next time we look in this window, there's gonna be animals in here. And we're gonna get to love them and get to learn about them. And I am so excited, but the snowstorm that's on its way definitely put a little bit of a wrench in the cogs. So hope for good news. Passed by Brian today and I was like, please Brian, you gotta help us. You gotta make this perfect. I know you're with us. I can't believe it, Brian. We're gonna see animals here tomorrow.
Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, there's a playlist that you can watch all kinds of videos. You can also hit that subscription button. It would mean a lot to me. Also, hit that like button while you're down there. Have a wonderful day, Reptile Army. Remember, be kind to someone, and I promise I'll see you in the next one.
Nice. Everybody all right?
don't go inside the ancient creepy tower. Just a thought?
Bet that was part of something once.
Watch your back! On your left. That's all of them. You're mine now.
those roots tearing the bridge apart, holding it together.
Beyond seek.
Good one!
It's like nature shaping these ruins into something. Like a shrine, but for who?
know where my daughter is. I don't know where.
You take lead. Point for you! Let's see what you got. Eon Seek. That it?
Ah, a welcome visitor. It has been so long since one of your kind has walked in this grove. For all time. But why have you come here? Your words carry threat where none is needed. It belonged to one who tended this grove for longer than I have been here. Sickness changed them, as it has recently changed so many creatures in these woods. It no longer recognized us as their kin. We had to stop them before their madness damaged the land. But it is over now. All that remains is their heart. Our kind has no need for such remembrances. It would cause us no pain to part with it. But wait. No. No. So many dead. So many of my kin are dead by your hand. The time for words has